there, welcome to the Teeny Tinkers channel. I make ball jointed, doll, and craft related content. We are sitting down for another sculpting video. In the last video, if you haven't seen it already, we made a base head, so just a basic head shape. And today we're going to be adding some features to that head shape. This is a series I'm hoping to kind of like at least finish an entire head together, like start to finish, and show you then like even maybe like the printing process and sanding of that head. I'm not sure, maybe we'll do a whole body, we'll see how adventurous we're feeling, but for now we are going to be adding features to this head. So we have our head file open in Nomad Sculpt. As mentioned in the last video, Nomad Sculpt is probably my preferred sculpting program, and it's going to be the easiest one for the purposes of today and all of these videos. So this is the basic head we made in the last video, and if you look, you can kind of see it. Is it perfect? No, but this is a base head. It's not meant to be perfect. It has some basic shapes for the eye wells, the nose bridge, cheekbones, jawline, all of those good things. Before we get started, remember that you should have symmetry on, makes it a lot easier, and yeah, I guess we can just go ahead and get started. The way I add features is by adding shapes. So the first thing I'm going to do is put eyes in, and not like necessarily like full eyeballs and eye wells yet, but we're going to add spheres. So I'm going to add a sphere and pull this up. Obviously this is way too big. Let's bring it down. Always let autosave do its thing. Okay, so I'm going to pull this to the front, and I think that's probably an okay size for an eye, if you think the eyeball, or we could do something a little cuter. Bigger eyes are going to look generally a little cuter, so I'm just going to pull that maybe a little bigger, maybe a 14mm eye or so. I'm going to validate it. I think that looks pretty good. You're going to want to position it in that eye well, but not right up against the nose, and then kind of like halfway between the nose bridge and the side of the head, I guess. That's where I put it, at least. You can mess with it later, but that's where we're going to start it. Now, you can clone it and do it on both sides at the same time, but what I do, that's why I said this is more of a show and tell than a tutorial, because there are probably other ways to do it, but this is how I do it. I'm just going to do one side and then mirror the face. Okay, so this is going to be obviously the right eye. I'm going to go to the right side and just see how deep I've put it. It is kind of bugging out a little bit, so I'm going to just put that a little further back into the head. Actually, I might bring this out. I might keep it out and then just build it out. But it should be settled right in between that little indent we've made to the side here. It should sit right in there, just like nested in. You definitely want to have room for the forehead and all that, but we're going to put it right there for now. Now to do an eyelid, what I'm going to do is duplicate that. So we're on sphere, and I'm going to go ahead and clone. And I'm going to just pull it out. I'm going to make it slightly bigger, just a little bit. Maybe like that. And then I'm going to go into split. And I'm going to go to the side. And I'm going to use the line split so it's nice and straight. And kind of like that. And then maybe like that. Oops. Here, let's try more like this. So we don't need this middle piece. Goodbye. And I'm going to switch back to the gizmo tool, which is my preferred way to move things around. You can also use other tools, but I like the option of making it smaller, bigger, wider, whatever. And we're just going to kind of shift those back so they kind of encase the eye, so they're kind of on either side. Obviously that's going to be too far back, and we can pull it kind of up and over. One thing you're going to want to check out is flipping it up, facing up, so you can see how thick you're making this eye well, because you don't want it too thick, but you don't want it too thin. It's better that it's too thick than too thin, because you can bring it down. It's a pain in the butt to thicken it out. And if you want to change the way it's laying, you can use the gizmo tool to kind of shift it around and change the general shape. Like I'll do something like this, and I think that looks all right. So from there, I'm going to grab my drag tool, and I'm just going to make it so that the corners meet. But how they meet is completely up to you. You can do something like kind of upturned. You can do like a round eye. You can bring the top lid down to the corner. You can bring them up to meet. It completely depends on you and the eye shape you're trying to make. I'm going to bring my top corner, and I'm going to bring it down like this. And then I'm going to grab my bottom corner, and I'm just going to bring it up just a little bit. Just bring it in a little, both sides. There we go. So it's kind of casing in the eye. And then I think I'm going to bring the bottom lid up to meet the top lid. Like that. Making sure it's staying kind of thick all around. I might puff this out just a little. And I'm also going to just kind of, oh, we're going to let autosave do its thing. Okay. Back to the top lid. I'm just going to kind of pull this up a little bit and reveal a little more of that eye. And then on the bottom, I think I might pull this just up a little. Okay, so that's basically your eyelid shape. We're not going to attach anything just yet. I'm just going to leave this as is. Take a look from the side. Does it look a little rough? Absolutely. It's not even connected. It's just kind of hanging out. You can also see how now the eyelid is sticking out way further than the bridge. We're going to fix all that. Do not worry. We will come back for it. It's going to be okay. The next thing I'm going to attach is what I'm going to use for the nose. And what I like to use is a cone. So I'm going to go again to add. And we're going to add a cone. I'm going to just, oops, grab my cone. That is way too big. So we're going to bring it down. I'm going to also make mine a little wider because I'm going to do a bit of a wider nose today. You can also make it narrower, obviously, again, using the gizmo tool. I'm going to go about here, and then you're going to tilt it up so that the round is kind of facing more towards you. This is going to kind of represent the shape for the bottom of the nostrils going up into the head. So I'm going to go like this. Beautiful. And I'm just going to pull that over. I think I'm going to bring... Okay, so you can see I've got that jutting out way too far. I need to kind of bring it down a little bit. And then I'm going to kind of place it there for now. That looks okay. It's kind of a more downward facing nose. I don't know if I love that. Maybe let's put it up a little bit. I think I'm also going to bring all the eye pieces down. So just give me a second, just for my own. So at this point, beautiful, beauty and grace, obviously. Now for lips. Lips are fun. I'm also going to use the cone for lips, but I'm just going to go ahead and clone the cone, and I'm going to make it much wider and shorter, and then flip it. So your lip is, I feel like you can also use spheres, but then that's where you end up with, if it's the kind of lip you like, cool. But that's where you end up with those kind of soft, flat kind of lips. If you use a cone to start, if you look, you kind of have like a beak of your lip on the top and bottom, and I find it easier to accomplish this with the cone. So I've made it wider and shorter, and I'm just going to drop it underneath the nose. Beautiful. Obviously it doesn't need to stick out that much, so I'm going to just bring it down a bit and then just adjust the way it's laying like that. I'm gonna clone it again and then flip it up and bring it down. Beautiful. Okay, let's see how that looks from the front. Okay. Is it a beak? It is absolutely a beak at this point. All of this is kind of messy looking, but we're going to accept it for what it is, and we're going to turn it to the side. And I like to remove the pieces underneath that are like in the head. I just find it easier, and then it doesn't, like, when you're cutting it up later, it makes it like not so that there's like secret things sticking out. It's hard to explain that, but I'm just gonna go ahead and trim. I use the lasso for this one, autosave, and just kind of trim out everything that's might bug me later. Make sure I didn't cut the nose too much. No, I didn't. Especially for the eyes, like this might be really annoying later, this full sphere. So I'm just gonna cut that and cut that. Beautiful. So now I'm gonna go back to my smooth tool, and on my nose, I'm going to tilt it so that we're looking at kind of the sharp of the nose, and I'm just gonna go right on that line and soften it out. There we go. So it's a more soft, rounded type disc. I'm gonna do the same thing on the lips. But this time I don't need to flatten it as much. Okay. So obviously gorgeous. I'm going to, let's start with the top lip. Lips have something called like you have this like thing in your nose that goes into a Cupid's bow. So we're just going to grab the top with the drag tool and kind of just pull it down into that basic shape. It's a little better. And then your lips are not usually as pointed as that. It's going to usually be a little more round. So we're just going to like allow it to fill in a little more space. Okay. Again, I'm only focusing on making one side look like decent, because only one side needs to look decent. At least with digital sculpting. Traditional sculpting, obviously a little bit different. And if you look, your lip comes out, so the edge of your nose, it should come out a little further. If you're going for something a little more stylized, you can do a smaller mouth. I kind of alternate what kind of mouth I do. I'm going to only bring mine out a little bit. And don't worry about the weird way these are overlapping. It's going to be fine. It will be fine. It will be okay. All right, so once we're looking at something kind of like that, okay, now that we're sitting on this monstrosity, I'm gonna grab the clay tool and I'm gonna just add onto the head and add a little bit more nose bridge. Okay, lovely. 10 out of 10, ready for casting. I'm gonna go ahead and start joining pieces as soon as I get them laying where I want them to. And then I'm going to grab everything except for the eyeball. You don't want to grab that. And the head, and you're going to go voxel. Move the resolution maybe to like 190 or something. And you're going to click keep sharp edges, voxel merge. Now this is all one piece. Again, you don't want to cut the eye yet though. I'm just going to give everything, a gentle smooth. Turn down the intensity. Glorious. I'm also going to go ahead and mirror right to left. All right. This is our this is our beautiful baby. This is the moment where you can just kind of go through and just kind of smooth out like the top of the nose. And then where that bottom of the eye meets a little bit. You don't want to lose definition. So, okay. So I'm liking that chin shape a little better. It's still soft and round, but it makes a little more sense with the head. I'm gonna open this up a little more and I'm just gonna squeeze the head in just a little bit. And then the forehead, when I turn it to the side, is obviously not big enough. So I'm going to just also pull that forward. And then obviously, and then also round the top a little bit. You'll see though, we do have a nice little nose bridge coming. We can adjust that as well though, because it is coming up quite sharp. And bring this. Okay. All right, so looking slightly more like a face at this point. The lips, not cute. I don't like this like open mouth moment that's going on. But this is how all my lips start. Autosave. And I'm just gonna go into the pinch tool, turn up the intensity, and just kind of run over the inside line until it closes. Great. And then I'm gonna go into smooth. And I'm just going to smooth out the shape of the lips. It's a little better. Obviously, I do not love the shape. Let's just mess with the shape for a minute because I'm not liking it. I'm going to pull this down. Actually here. So we can do a 2-for-1 here. Your nose comes down. So obviously it's not completely flat. That septum part kind of pulls down into, I don't know what this is called, this little divot into your Cupid's bow. But we can grab right at the very bottom of the nose and pull it down. And then we're pulling that nose shape a bit. And then it also kind of pulls the Cupid's bow. I'm going to make this part smaller though, so I can tuck in around the lips. I'm also going to grab the inflate tool and turn it down a little bit, but just kind of give them a little more volume on that bottom lip, because not that much volume. It was it's looking a little weird. Okay, better. Again, these lips are a lot. Everything is kind of a lot at this point. You just kind of have to go like, well, that's not the most beautiful thing I've ever seen, but it will be. But yeah, this is how all my heads start. There's a lot wrong with this anatomically, but we're getting there slowly. I'm just gonna soften out this bit. All right, so the next thing we can work on is, I'm gonna leave the eyes alone for right now because I'm gonna get to those soon. I wanna work on this nose because I think it's getting there, and it only needs a few more things to really actually look like a nose before we decide how this face is going to look. I'm gonna go into drag. I'm gonna bring it down. I'm gonna turn it this way. And I'm gonna grab, I'm gonna make the nostrils now. So the bottom of your nose, I don't wanna show you up my nose, but it's basically like a soft triangle and your nostrils kind of wrap in a little circle-y around. So we wanna make sure we are leaving that definition. But we also need the nostrils. They can be all different shapes, but they tend to kind of like lean in, They don't have to, but you know, everyone's different, but that's kind of like the baseline. And I'm just gonna pull, that was too small, pull. Those up, and then now I'll bring it in a little, bring it in. So this way I still have the septum. I'm not getting that wrap here. So I'm gonna go into clay and I'm just gonna add a little bit of clay, kind of finishing off that round into the nose. I'm gonna soften here. I'm gonna soften there a little better. I think the side of this nose is sticking out a little too much, so I'm just gonna pull that in. Okay, so let's look at the profile for a minute. when I'm looking at the profile, it's giving very like kind of flat. There's obviously a lot of curves and stuff, but we're not getting that like pulled out jaw. This is really easy peasy to fix though. Just grab your drag tool, pull that bigger, grab around the mouth, and kind of just pull it forward a little bit. It's a little better. And then we can go back into the nose bridge and give it the curve we want. Again, however you want it to look. You can bump it out, you can put it like completely flat. It is your nose. You do whatever you want. Okay, so that's our nose shape. Okay, so now for the lips, I'm going to go into my crease tool, turn down the intensity, but turn up the size. And I'm going to just build out this little chin shape that comes under your lip. So I'm just gonna go in and just kind of give it, oops. And then I'm going to smooth it. Okay, so now we have a little bit of shape to the lips, but what's happening is we're not getting any cheek definition. The cheeks should puff out kind of further than, not further than the lips, but there's like a dent here, especially as you get older. Hello, hello. But I'm gonna go from my side view. You see what I mean? This cheek should kind of round out like this, and we're just gonna make that happen now. I'm going to pull here. I'm just gonna start on my cheek and kind of follow this line. I'm gonna bring the cheek out a bit. Got a little bit of a roundy. And then let's smooth. When I make lips, I have a couple different shapes I do. So I can do, like Hollow has a like cat-like almost little like animal where it meets like this in the middle. You can also kind of do like a flat where it's mostly smooth. I think, who has that? Sodapop's mouth is open. Maybe like Soleil's. And then there's like Clover, who has kind of a cartoon, like a liney mouth. She's really simple. That's probably the easiest one to make if you're just starting out. But I think for this one, I'm gonna kind of do like the bump. There's like the middle part of your lip. I don't know what to call it, but I'm gonna turn on crease, turn up the intensity a bit. And I'm just going to, oops, try and stay in that line. Okay, so kind of like this, and then I'm going to grab this corner and bring it out a little bit more lip, and then I'm going to just really kind of slice in there and just be like, that's the corner of the mouth. A little bit of clay on the top because we have this little fat pocket right there. At least people, again, you don't have to do all this stuff. This is like just little things that were taught to me or that I picked up or all that. So now I'm seeing that this bottom corner is not matching up to where I've put the corner. So I'm just gonna, oops, too big. So then just kind of move it around at all angles and kind of just find the shapes that you want. Okay, so now we have a basic lip shape and a basic nose shape and a basic eye. It's coming along. I'm just, again, going to look at it from all angles. I really don't, like the way this mouth is curving is bothering me. So I'm gonna just, again, the name of the game is adjustments. So this face for me is now looking a little more mature than what I would usually do. So I think I'm going to bring the eyes down. This is a general rule, I guess. If you want your sculpt to look younger, you're going to bring the eyes a little further down in the face, kind of like to the midline of the face. If you think of the face as kind of in 3 sections, like if you're an adult, they're going to sit in at the top of that second section, basically. If you're younger, they're going to sit down a little closer to your nose. So I'm going to do that because I like a cute sculpt. I'm also going to have to move these eyes after, but I'm just going to bring this down. There we go. And then I'm just going to grab this guy and move him down a bit because he's in the wrong spot now. Okay, so this is kind of where we're ending off on her face. She looks a bit like a bunny, so I'm thinking I might make her a bunny rabbit girl. I've never done successfully a bunny girl, and I think that that would be a lot of fun. I'm still just going around and tweaking the head shape because, yeah. Oh, the other thing I guess we could do before we finish off is where kind of the neck would meet. You're just going to kind of go into the jaw and kind of pick it up and then pull this part down. Super easy peasy, but that's basically where your neck is going to cut up. And then just kind of smooth out the lines. Generally, it's better to, if you're finding you're looking a little lumpy, just smooth it out. And then you can add details back on. Don't go too crazy, but yeah, just give everything in between stages, maybe give everything like a quick smooth. And then, yeah. So that's where we're going to end for today. On the next video, we will do refinements and ears and add them onto the head. So I'll see you then. If you're already subscribed to my channel, thanks so much for subscribing. If you're new here, I hope you like the content and will consider subscribing. As always, I hope you have a fantastic day. Bye.